Swinging a high fly ball right field, backing up Wallner. He's turning around. That baby's gone way out of here. His 11th home run of the year, a 2-run shot, and the Red Sox are turning this one into a laugher.
You couldn't be going into the deadline any better than this. Absolute blowout win for the Red Sox today. They've had a few of these along the way. Well, remember, we had these blowout wins, right? And then all of a sudden they just go cold for what felt like 2 months. And then, they ended up getting themselves right. But this one feels different, right? Because you got the day off tomorrow. You just scored a ton of runs. And what's tomorrow? Can anyone remind me? Oh, that's right. It's the trade deadline tomorrow. I got the baseball trade values shirt on today. I'm actually working on a video as we speak that is going to be posted on the main channel here. Hopefully the next hour. That I got to get done here pretty quick. That is time sensitive for today. But oh yeah, I did not update the score. That is not the correct score. I've been working on stuff, and I forgot to update the score. Thank you, chat, for letting me know. It was 13-1 today. 13-1 today. So there we go. It's very busy over here at the desk. Lots of trade video stuff cooking up. We got our trade deadline eve stream on the main channel tonight over on YouTube. Very excited about that. But man, oh man, what a day for the offense here. What a day. Jhoan Duran, Trevor Story, they're staying hot. Back-to-back days with a home run. Jhoan Duran, what a day for him today. Had a homer, had a double, 4 RBIs on the day. Trevor Story, another home run today. Roman Anthony, still looking solid out of the leadoff spot. Connor Wong. All of a sudden, Connor Wong might be the best player on the planet. Holy cow. This is what we've been waiting for. At least anything out of Connor Wong all year. Man, oh man, you gotta love it. Had a double today, a couple of hits today. You gotta love it. And this is huge because it felt like every time Connor Wong was in any game, it was just a black hole in the lineup. Sure, maybe a couple of decent things defensively here and there, but you're thinking to yourself, man, do the Red Sox need to upgrade backup catcher? I'm even thinking Christian Vasquez. At least he's not really doing much for the bat either, but he's going to bring a lot of value to the pitching staff. You know what I mean? Like, and a good veteran guy that knows Boston, obviously. But if Wong can just do something with the bat, even just a little bit, that's great. And it seemed like he was playing for that today the last couple of times out now, with this trade deadline coming up. It's been reported that the Red Sox have been out there looking at catchers. Dalton Rushing came up at one point. So good for Connor Wong to start getting himself going here. All right. They had an absolute just onslaught in the 9th inning, piling on 5 runs. Yes, you had Clemens pitching, position player. Gotta love that. But overall, great day for the offense here. Brian Bayo. Another solid day for Brian Bayo. This guy just keeps churning in just quality start after quality start. He's just solid every single time out here. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned. He had a little trouble putting some hitters away here today. 4 walks overall. But for the most part, a pretty healthy pitch count. Had a few strikeouts along the way. Brian Bayo looking great. But yes, we love the blowout win. We love all the runs. We love the homers. We love piling on the runs here. But we all know what we're waiting for here. We're waiting for one of the biggest days of the year in baseball, and that's the trade deadline tomorrow. We get a few reports I'm going to touch on in this video. I'm not going to go too heavy with the game here today. Yes, I'll dive into it, but really, it's pretty simple to go over. The Red Sox scored a ton of runs here, but we have to get to some trade deadline news in this episode here today. So we'll go over that. Everyone, if you can, just hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. We're trying to get to 5K by the end of the season. We're about 700 subscribers away. Hey, if you could put the good word out there, hey, Monster Territory, come on over. If you're looking for all the Red Sox news in one spot, this is the place. But let's get to the offense here. Let's get to the offense. And like I said, a lot of good things to go over here. 2nd inning, Trevor Story getting it started with the home run. That made it 1-0. Again, Trevor Story. At the end of the season, the stat line is not going to look, if you're looking at OPS, batting average, you're going to be like, oh, okay. But really, Trevor Story, man, he has done just so many good things this year. He's been obviously going deep. That was his, that was, I believe that was his 16th home run today. Let me double check on that. Was that number 16 for today? Hold on. We got to make sure we keep track of these things, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just make sure. Or was that 17? That was 17 on the year. Good thing I double checked. That was 17 on the year for Trevor Story. But again, it's not even just the fact that he hit a home run. It's that he got the Red Sox started here today. And it's these little intangibles that he brings to the table, right? Third inning, Connor Wong getting it started there. My goodness, Connor Wong, you got to love it. Roman had a hard hit base hit. Abraham Toro had a sac fly. They made it 2-1 at the time. It looks like we had a trade going through. What is going? We had Ke'Bryan Hayes. I do have the phone ready just in case. Okay, the Mets, they made a trade for Tyler Rogers. That's such a David Stearns kind of a move. Wow, they gave up a bit here for Tyler Rogers. Wow, they gave up Jose Budo, Drew Gilbert, and Blade Tidwell. That's a decent package right there. Wow. Man, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, let's get back to this here. I don't know where I was. I don't know where I was. Oh, fifth inning. The Red Sox continue to pile it on there. Connor Wong getting us started again. Base hit. Roman with his 14th double. Duran with the base hit. That scored Wong and Roman. That made it 4-1. Justin Topa coming in from the bullpen. He walks Story and Romy. Massa, good day for Massa today. That I think you could say that's his best game since coming back against the Rockies. First home run of the year today, too. Massa with the base hit. They made it 6-1. Sixth inning. They just kept it going. Roman with the hit by pitch. Duran, we just saw the home run not too long ago. 11th home run on the year. Second straight day with a homer. They made it 7-1. And the ninth inning, I mean, they're just going to town off the position players here. Duran with the double. Hamilton with the base hit. Willier base hit. They made it 9-1. Romy, 3-run homer to make it 12-1. Massa goes back-to-back. Home run, 13-1. It's really all there is to it when it comes to the offense, right? Lots of runs today for the Red Sox, but let's get to Brayan Bello. Mr. Brayan Bello looking very solid here today. Lots of sinkers, lots of sweepers today, mixing in the changeups, had the cutter going as well. The four-seamer was the least used pitch on the day, but he was getting a bit more swing and miss than usual. He had 10 swing and misses on the day on 24 swings total. He did walk 4, but that doesn't necessarily mean he was lacking command because he was in the zone 52% of the time. So really it was just more so, just not able to put hitters away, right? That's something I really want Bello to really try to get better at here in the next couple of months. Really just try to find that out pitch. See if you can find it. But overall, you can't really complain about Bello's day today. They had really nothing going, just 5 hits on the day. Matt Wallner had the home run in the second inning that ended up tying it at the time. But overall, just a great day. Bullpen, you had Murphy coming in, 2 hitless innings. And that's great because the bullpen, hey, they got worked a little bit here in this series, but the fact that, Murphy covered the last part of the game, you got the day off tomorrow, things are just looking very nice right now. Very nice. Yes, Mason in the chat, Austin Slater. Austin Slater for the Yankees. That's the big Yankee acquisition of the deadline. Is that going to be the biggest acquisition? Ryan McMahon? Man, is that it? Is that all the Yankees are doing? I don't know. Do the Yankees have another trade possibly tomorrow? Maybe for some pitching? I don't know. Slater, he's going to be a decent platoon bat. He'll hit lefties. But it's kind of weird, man. The Yankees, they were in such a good place not even, a couple of weeks ago. Right around, a couple of weeks ago, they were looking pretty good, and they just started free-falling a little bit. Judge is out with an elbow. Man, oh man, the Yankees. Let's see what they do tomorrow. But speaking of the Yankees, let's take a look at the updated standings. Let's see where the Red Sox are at here. And, I swear, I have all this stuff pulled up. And then when I go to look for it, it's just gone. It's just gone. But let's take a look-see here. As of right now, the Red Sox, they are now a half game out for the first wild card. The Yankees are at 58 and 49. They're playing tonight against the Rays, and the Red Sox are 59 and 51. So if the Yankees lose here tonight, the Red Sox and the Yankees will be tied for the first wild card spot. Man, oh man. Pretty crazy what's happened here over the last couple of weeks, right? The Red Sox finishing off the month of July with just a tremendous month. Really came alive here. You got to love it. You got to love it. Now, as for the third wild card spot, the Mariners, they are playing here tonight. They're 57 and 51. The Rangers, they've been playing great baseball as of late. They have dropped their last couple, but they're right there behind the Mariners. The Rays still a few games out. But we got a few things to talk about here before we wrap up today's show. We got some trade deadline news to talk about. Before we do, though, we do have a word from our sponsor. I'll be right back. Ever bet on baseball before? Well, it's easy. Pick a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. Now, here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. So what are you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Okay. Let's get to it here. Let's get to it. So we have a few different stories to touch on here. There's been quite a bit of news coming out here today. We've had some trades, more minor trades for the most part, but we've gotten one report possibly on Jhoan Duran, and I guess the Dodgers are in the mix, the Phillies are in the mix, but we also got a little something on the Red Sox maybe being in the mix. Thank you to Mr. Boston Sports Gordo on Twitter of Play Tessie. He's always keeping us in the loop on what's going on here, so I'm going to be using his stories here on Twitter. It's just very easy to go pull this stuff up. Make sure you follow Gordo. He's always keeping you in the loop on everything going on. I wish I could share my screen, but it's taking forever here. There it is. But according to Jon Heyman, I believe this was on his Bleacher Report stream. It is Wednesday, right? Yes, it was on his Bleacher Report stream. The Red Sox, along with the Phillies and the Dodgers, they were reported to be in the mix too, are cannot say that word, prominently in on Twins closer Jhoan Duran. I'm going to be honest. That would be, could you imagine? Really, let's just have some fun with this. Let's have some fun with this. Could you imagine Aroldis Chapman and Jhoan Duran at the back end of the bullpen? Are you kidding me? That would be insane. And if you were able to land Duran somehow, you'd have him for next year as well. So if Chapman ended up going somewhere else in free agency, I would like to work out an extension with Chapman personally. But, goodness gracious. What a move this would be. Now, let me actually pull up here on baseballtradevalues.com. Let's put together kind of what a trade would look like here. Make sure, go check out baseballtradevalues.com. Of course, it's not working. I may have to come back to this. I apologize, everybody. But for Jhoan Duran, I don't know. Do I think this is realistic? Do I think the Red Sox are going to pay a hefty price for a closer? I guess it comes down to what are the Twins looking for? What could you realistically give up? Well, it looks like Baseball Trade Values is currently down. Well, that is not good one day before the deadline. They must be doing some kind of updates or something. But when it comes to Duran, I don't know. I don't imagine Craig is going to pay the hefty price. I would think they would want a good arm back in return. I mean, you're going to have to give up a pretty hefty price. I would imagine Brandon Clark, maybe even Peyton Tolley would have to lead the conversation. I mean, you're looking at that kind of a price tag. They don't want to give up Peyton Tolley. I've been told that. Could you realistically see Brandon Clark being a guy that maybe they give up in some kind of a package for Jhoan Duran? That might be a pill you have to swallow. Brandon Clark, very talented. Still far away, but still, this guy's got good velo, good stuff. You might have to give him up to get a deal done. If they could get a deal done for Jhoan Duran without giving up Tolley or Clark, I mean, I don't know. I mean, would you give up Arias in that point? Yostinson Garcia? I guess it really depends, If it were me, if I'm the Twins, I'm looking to get back the most ceiling I can with a pitcher, right? I mean, if you're giving up one of the top closers in the game, I'm going to be looking to get, one of the best pitching prospects that's out there. So that's what I would think. I would imagine some kind of a package would start with Brandon Clark. I don't think Peyton Tolley is going to go anywhere. I think if teams ask for him, the Red Sox are just going to say no. I swear, if the Red Sox trade him and that mustache, I will be rather upset. Do not get rid of Tolley. But, yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking with Duran, to be honest. I think they would ask for Clark. I think that's possible. Also, that was another story here today. Speaking of the Twins, I guess the Astros are showing some interest in Carlos Correa. Man, oh man. Remember, they did that with Justin Verlander not too long ago, right? They brought him back, right? Could they do it again here with Carlos Correa? Man, that'd be a pretty fun story. All right, let's see if they can figure that out. But we'll see here with Duran. I would say the likelihood of this, I don't know, man. Here's the thing, though. I mean, if the Twins are talking with the Phillies, for example, I read somewhere that the Phillies do not want to give up Andrew Painter. There's no way you're giving up Andrew Painter in a trade for Jhoan Duran. If the Phillies did that, Dave Dombrowski should get fired. I'll just throw that out there. That would be a very silly move, in my opinion. Could you maybe do something with McAble, right? A couple of your higher-ranked prospects, possibly. Maybe. I could see something like that. I don't know. Something with, like, Justin Crawford. I don't know what the Twins would be looking for. Would they be looking for, a speedy outfielder? I don't know. But the Phillies, I'm not sure if they would match up with a trade. I think you could. But if the Twins feel like, hey, if they really want to get an arm in return, would McAble be that arm if they're not going to give up Painter? Well, I don't know. And then if they're not seeing, something they like from, what the Phillies are offering, well, they could turn to the Dodgers, possibly. Would the Dodgers pay for a premium reliever? I mean, what would you send back? I don't know. I mean, could you do... I think rushing, in my opinion, rushing has more value than Duran because he's one of the top prospects in the game. He's at a valuable position at catcher, has a lot of upside with the bat, over 4 more years of control. Would you be giving up someone like Dalton Rushing to get Jhoan Duran, who you have for 2 more years, and, he's a closer? I think that's a little too much. So could it be where maybe the Red Sox could end up playing the waiting game? And maybe they, if they say, hey, we'll give you Clark, well, maybe something like that could end up happening. The Red Sox have prospects here. They can get a deal done. So, really quick. All right, cool. We are still doing good with time here. We're still doing good with time. Now, moving on to the next story. Let's talk Yandi Diaz. Yandi Diaz. Now, not necessarily any connection here with the Red Sox, but he has been connected with the Red Sox. But Robert Murray, he's bringing up here today on his show on YouTube that the Rays are listening. And that's been a bit of a question mark here over the last couple of days. Are the Rays going to move him? I think he'd be a great fit at Fenway Park. I think he would be a great fit with the Red Sox. He would give you some insurance for next year, depending on what happens with Tristan Casas. Your defense, I think, would get a bit weaker. He's going to be fine over at first base. He's not like any sort of a magician over there at first base, but he'll be fine. He'll be right around league average for the most part. But Romy against lefties would be playing second base. Him and Cedon would basically be covering second base for the most part. So, but it would give you an everyday option at first. Obviously would deepen your lineup even more, which sounds very exciting after they just scored 13 runs today. So Yandi with the Red Sox, I could totally see something like that. And the Red Sox, they, according to the reports, have been very interested in Yandi. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But that is, I think, a pretty big story. Because we're not sure, we're never sure what the Rays do. The Rays are the most unpredictable franchise out there. Like just the other day, they're trading away Danny Jansen and they're bringing in Nick Fortes. It's like, who saw that one coming? No one ever sees anything like that. The Rays, they just take you by surprise every single year with whatever moves they make. So I think this is big. The fact that they are listening, to what extent? I think that's a good question to ask. Are they really listening? Like, okay, all right. Or are they picking between offers listening or picking up the phone listening? Right? We'll see. We have a couple more stories here. Before I get to that, though, we got one more word from our sponsor. I'll be right back.
FT fam, we have a special offer for you. If you go to surfshark.com/foul or use the code FOUL at checkout, get yourself 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. It's a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. And you can see more information in our show notes. It's surfshark.com/foul. And why should they check out Surfshark VPN, Kratz?
Well, this is a no-brainer because I travel a lot and I'm online. I need to have that security. And as a former catcher, I need someone else to catch my digital threats online. Surfshark's the place.
It's time to take control of your online security. Try Surfshark today and enjoy their 30-day money-back guarantee. Secure your digital world now. Visit the link below. It's in the notes. Start surfing securely. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Check out surfshark.com/foul.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We're having technical difficulties over here. But we got another story here today from Mr. Rob Bradford. You got to love Rob Bradford of the Baseball Isn't Boring podcast. Said here today, the Red Sox are interested in Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen. Well, these have been two guys that have definitely been on the radar, for the Red Sox and, Red Sox fans. We've known, right, that they could definitely be available. So I'm not surprised to see this report. I think the Red Sox, they're kind of taking a pulse everywhere here. With Kelly, there's a lot of destinations for him. He's just going to be solid for you no matter, where he is. Just a good veteran guy to have in your rotation. A guy that can be a 2. You'd be a very good 3, if that ended up being the case. Like if he went to the Tigers, right? If he was with Tarek Skubal and Jack Flaherty, and then Kelly's your 3, or Flaherty's your 3, whatever. I mean, that's a really good 1, 2, 3. Kelly, I would love to have in Boston. He would just be a rental. I think the Red Sox, they would rather have controllable guys. I think they would rather have someone for next year. That's kind of the way I think Craig is trying to operate. I think if they're going to have to give up prospects, they would rather do it for a guy like Yandi. That's why it doesn't surprise me that you're hearing more with the Red Sox and Yandi over, say, Ryan O'Hearn and Josh Naylor ended up not really being too much of a target for them. So I think they would rather have a guy that could be in the fold for next year. Seems like Craig, he would rather not do the rental if possible. But with Kelly, if he ended up being the guy you go after, I wouldn't be mad at it at all. He would cost something, but he's not going to be, the cost of Joe Ryan. You'd have to give up something pretty decent. So I would like to have Joe Kelly in the fold. Now, Zach Gallen, On the other hand, I don't know about that. I mean, Gallen, he's had his issues this year. He's been very up and down. In his last start, he gave up 4 runs, 5 hits over 6 innings against the Pirates. Yes, the Pirates. The freaking Pirates who can't hit anything. So he worries me a lot. He just feels like a guy that I really could see him just staying with the Diamondbacks. They give him a qualifying offer, and then he sticks around for another year, tries to get himself right. Gallen, I'm not really a fan of them going after him. I think it's more just due diligence, if anything. But if Kelly were to be the guy, I think it can make a lot of sense. But I think someone else is going to be a bit more realistic. But if you are watching on NESN, I do have to cut it off right there. If you want to see the last report that I'm going to talk about, you got to come over to Monster Territory, and you got to come watch it here. But everybody on NESN, thank you for watching. And we will see you in the next, we'll be back here tomorrow night for trade deadline coverage. And obviously, post-game will resume on Friday. But everybody on NESN, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. But here on YouTube, let's get to the final story. And yesterday, we had this report from Sean McAdam. This is not the report that I'm going over, but I'm just kind of rewinding a little bit. Now, we said here, the Miami Marlins have 2 of the better controllable starters available in Sandy Alcantara and Edward Cabrera. As recently as 10 days ago, when the Red Sox called to inquire about Alcantara's availability, the message they seemed to be saying, according to someone with knowledge of the talks, was, don't move him without checking back with us. I thought that was really interesting. You know, the fact that they're saying, hey, at least give us a phone call, right? Could that just be due diligence? Or could that be like, hey, we really like this guy? But then we had this other story here today from Francis Romero. The Red Sox have been closely monitoring Sandy Alcantara over the past few months as they search for a strong number 2 starter. Well, that tying in with the report we had yesterday from McAdam, seems like, there's intrigue there. Now, he's definitely had a tough year. Looked better in his last start, though. With Sandy, he has the good track record. It's a guy that could be one of the better pitchers in baseball. And for the Red Sox, if they can get their hands on him, maybe tweak a couple of things, that could end up being a really good number 2 behind Garrett Crochet. So, I think it would be a really good environment for him. We'll see what ends up happening. But I thought this was really interesting from Francis Romero. We'll keep an eye on it. And I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up happening tomorrow. And I think for the Red Sox, they would be intrigued with this because you would have him for a couple more years, right? And he's not going to be too expensive over the next couple of years. So that's kind of where I see the intrigue there. Yeah. And again, I get back to the fact that I think Craig, he would rather get these guys that are under control, whether they're on a contract or one more year of arbitration or whatever it may be. So Sandy, I think, is definitely someone to pay attention to for tomorrow. I do think the Red Sox are going to make some kind of a move, though. I really do. I've been seeing a lot of people being so negative about the Red Sox trade deadline, saying oh, they're not going to do anything. It's like, they did move. They made moves last year when they were a worse team and their farm was not as good as it is now. So I definitely think moves are going to be made. I think they're just being strategic here, and I think they're trying to wait this market out the best they can. They're kind of hanging around. I think they're just waiting, right, to see what could be the best opportunity that falls in front of them. And Craig, again, I know people have had negative things to say about Craig, but the guy had a great offseason. And I'm expecting Craig to pull off some stuff here tomorrow. We'll see what extent. Again, you got to play to the market too. It's not like, I think people are like, oh, why can't you get this guy? You got 30 teams that are all trying to make a move, and you only have so much time to work with. It's where off-season moves, you get more time to work with things, right? Deadline, I couldn't even imagine being a GM at this time. I couldn't imagine it. So, I don't know, man. I do think he's going to make some moves. I'm going to say, though, don't be, like, if it ends up being Charlie Morton, I mean, yeah, that would be a little, But whatever. If they go out there and make some moves to try and improve the roster, that's all I'm looking for. Hopefully it can be a guy that gives you, a guy that's going to really help you out over the next couple of months and in the postseason. We'll see what it ends up being. I'm excited for tomorrow, though. Very excited. Who knows? Maybe something happens tonight. We'll see. I don't know. We will be live on the main channel tonight for Trade Deadline Eve. I'll be live. I'll be talking about whatever's going on. Hopefully we have some news here in the next few hours that I can talk about. So everybody, I'm going to wrap it up right there. Thank you so much for coming out here today for another episode of Monster Territory. If you can, on the way out, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.